So, which brings me to the message today about Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6. Darius, Darius, the grandson of King Ahasuerus, which was the region of Esther, was now in charge. And he captured some Hebrew boys and imprisoned them and made them indentured to himself. Now, they were already scholastically advanced. So what he did is he figured, Cliff, he said they had the capacity to learn. I just changed their curriculum. Instead of letting them listen to the way of the Hebrew life, I would give them the way of the Persian or the Babylonian teaching. And so they learned math, astronomy, even astrology in those days, and geology and so forth. And they were light years ahead of everybody around them. Now, there was 120 provinces, as we learned from the book of Esther, from India to what we call today modern day Iraq and Iran. There was 120 provinces. And of that, they would get these boys, and they selected 4 presidents or 4 princes to serve over these regions as understudies for King Nebuchadnezzar, and or as one of his names is called. And what happened is he liked Daniel. Even though he served a different God, he was of a different faith, people will like you when they see you possess integrity. Now, the problem with that is whenever God bless you, now I hear everybody on the internet, people tell me, listen to this preacher, that preacher, and everybody talk about haters, haters, haters. If you got that many haters, you probably hating. But now jealous spirit, you're going to have, I don't care what you do. If you do anything good, somebody's going to be jealous of you. So you're going to have jealous spirit. You know, the first thing the Lord will tell you is be aware of jealous spirits. Well, they was jealous of him because of one thing. They was jealous of Daniel because the Bible says in Daniel chapter 6, and this Daniel was preferred over all the prince. Now, they reduced it from 120 down to 4, and of the 4, he became number 1. When you have a track record, now, if there is no merit, there's no merit system, Quisha, you can't determine if you're doing good or bad. You don't know who's the leader, who's on the top list, who's on the A list if you don't have a merit system. That's why I hate systems where people just randomly pick people based off nepotism or because they like you, or they will pass you over because they don't like the way you wear your hair or what side of town you come from. But in this case, they were not good people or godly people, but they had a good system. The system was, they said Daniel was preferred. Daniel was preferred because he had an excellent spirit. You know, Linda Harris have her own business, and to have your own business and stay in business, you got to have a spirit of excellence, which means you got to see what other folks don't see. And you got to go when other folks stay at home. You go in the rain, you go in the sleet, you go in the snow, you go when you're hurt, you go when you feel good, you go when you got plans, you go when you got something else on the agenda. Why? Because there's a goal in mind that you're trying to achieve. Now, there are 2 things different that happened here. One group, they sit back and they talked about them and they hated. There's another group that just did it. He did it. Daniel, the Bible says, this Daniel was preferred. So he began to excel. The word excel, the root word for excellence is excel, the power to excel. And it's all because of God. He put God first. Now, if you do not have ample priorities in your life, you'll wonder why it takes you longer to get it together than other folk. But we must learn to put God first in our life. God over everything. And we put God first over everything. Then we seek ye, as Matthew 6:33 said, but seek ye first the kingdom of God. Now, if you put God first and you seek the kingdom first, James, what happened is you will strive, but the Bible says, but strive godly. You know, you're striving for mastery, but you got to do it godly. You don't backbite. You don't dig ditches to get ahead. If it's God's providential will, your excellence will promote you. No matter how many stumbling blocks they put in your way, if God be for you, he's more than the whole world against you. Now listen to me. You're going to have setbacks. Everybody does. You're going to have stumbling blocks. Everybody does. The greater your obstacles, the greater your resistance, and the greater your resistance, the greater your resilience. You know, you don't build muscles, Jeremy. You don't build muscles from sitting on the couch. You don't build muscles from everybody patting you on the back and agreeing with you. You build muscles from resistance. You say, why do they go there? They go and lift things that goes against the dynamics of their body. They go against things that push against their gravitational force. And that's called resistance. And resistance training builds a resiliency that you can conquer anything. Nobody likes competition. Nobody likes resistance, but what they don't understand is resistance is life. It's not good. The Bible even says in Proverbs, woe unto you when all men speak well of you. It's good for you sometimes to have opposition. Let me tell you something. Joseph had 11 brothers, and all of them was in agreement with each other. And they could not solve the problem of the famine because they had never had a problem. See, you can surround yourself with family, and you can surround yourself with naysayers. You can surround yourself with agreeable spirit, but you won't accomplish nothing. You got to go through something. You got to go through some betrayals. You got to go through some wilderness experience. You got to go through being lied on. You got to go through being passed over. You got to go through being robbed and taken from and taken advantage of to get the resistance necessary to survive and thrive. Joseph was different because he had been different. They thought it was his coat and they took it. It's not what you wear, it's what's in your heart. Let me tell you something. They said his coat was it because his father gave him the coat. But when they took him and he was depleted of that coat, he still began to rise. Now, he wasn't in the comfort and security of 11 brothers and a father. He met enemies and he was in prison. He was thrown in prison and he was sold into slavery. Most of us would have lost our mind. We would have been on somebody's psychiatrist's couch talking to ourselves. Let me tell you something. It's not the one that's being betrayed, it's the betrayer who has a problem. It's not the one that's being talked about, it's the one that's doing the talking that's got a problem. You see, you got to understand something. What you talk about is the determination of what's in your heart. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. When you are going nowhere and you don't do anything and you ain't got nothing, you're going to talk about people. But a visionary and a dreamer don't talk about people, they talk about plans. Tesla wasn't built off of gossip. And they said, let me tell you something about Nikola Tesla. They said that Thomas Edison was the father of electricity. But then they go back and find that the textbooks are being rewritten because they went and found his notes and his writings and discovered that Nikola Tesla was 100 light years ahead of Edison. Then they discovered that Edison was operating off old data from Tesla. Tesla was so far advanced that nobody understood him. When you have a spirit of excellence, you got to learn to walk alone. Now, they call him mad. And when you do something, George, when you can do something that nobody else is doing, they're going to call you mad. They're going to call you bougie. They're going to call you stuck up. But they will call you. They know when they want something, they're going to call you. And then they discovered that he, you know, they used to, because the common theory was that electricity flows from positive to negative. Tesla said, no, sir, you kill yourself every time. It flows from negative. That's why they call it the ground. Right. And he talked about the positive charge of the eons in the air and the negative charge of the ground. Everything we have now, they said to put it on the ground. And then they said it must be grounded. They said, what's your ground wire? And usually it's the black wire would let us know that it must have connectivity. So now we learned that from Nikola Tesla. Let me tell you something. They said Benjamin Franklin flew a kite. Yes, he did, but he just got wet. They said Thomas Edison discovered the light bulb. No, he just burnt out filaments. It was Nikola Tesla that took it to the next level. And you got to have a next level thinker if you want next level action. I wish I had somebody. Sometimes you got to get ahead of the crowd. Now, it's comfortable being with the crowd because they don't talk about you. Sometimes you're with a group of people and you're scared to walk off because they slander everybody, and you know that as soon as you leave, they're going to assassinate your character. So I'm going to be the last one to leave. I can't leave because I see how they did John. I see how they did Melvin. I see how they did James. So I'm just going to stay here. Don't worry, they'll get you. They may not talk. They'll get you on the phone. They'll call back. Did you see James? So talkers talk and workers work. But when you got an excellent spirit, nothing can stop you. When you got an excellent spirit, then failure is never final. When you got an excellent spirit, then you fall, but you fall forward. The Bible says a just man shall fall 7 times, but he'll get up again. It's not how many times you fall, but how many times you get up. I was listening to an interview on ESPN History, and they were talking about Joe Frazier. It just happened to be one of the people I like. I don't know why, but a left-handed boxer from North Carolina that moved to Philadelphia. I don't know. Left-handed, came from a farm. I don't know. But anyway, he beat, they call it the fight of the century when he was going to fight Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali was the favorite by far. And Muhammad Ali said he looked like a gorilla. And he made fun of his African features. And he talked about him. And he had a rubber gorilla in front of his face. And then he started talking about, it's not if I beat him, it's what round I'm going to drop Frazier. And he said, I'm going to drop Frazier in 7. And then they said, Joe, what you got to say? And I looked at that thing and that footage, and I said, I can identify with that. Joe said, I don't talk. I let the ring do the talking. And I said, well, ain't that something? Now, we all remember that time when Sonny Liston refused to call Muhammad Ali Muhammad and call him Cassius Clay, and he started hitting him, talking about, what's my name? And everybody was like, whoa, boy, he beat him. Well, and we know how he did Patterson, and we saw how he did Jerry Clooney. But what he wasn't prepared for, Frazier had all that anger. They say he stood outside his hotel, blowing the horn and making fun of him. And even made fun of his wife, made fun of everything about him. And sometimes in your fight, it's who the maddest. It ain't who the skillful, who the maddest. Round 1, and I was a little boy, but I remember that. Round 1, they said, Howard Cosell said, oh, this look like it's going to be an early night. It's Ali as usual. It's vintage Ali. Ali was shuffling and dancing. And I looked at Frazier, and they asked Muhammad Ali afterwards, said, you was hitting him. He said, I ain't never seen a man take punches like that. When you determined, you could take some. He ate up all them punches. Round 2, Ali. Round 3, Ali. Round 4, it began to turn. You hang on in there. The tables will turn. Now, they said, Ali ain't dancing round 4. The shuffle had quit. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your hand can't hit, but your eyes can't see. Boy, I was like, ooh. And every kid in my neighborhood was an Ali fan. But I tell you what, in round 7, first time in his career, he got up there just close enough. Frazier was the most limited fighter in the world. He didn't have but one weapon, a left hook. But if it ever gets you, if it ever connect, down goes Ali. Down goes Ali. Ali laid on the floor. And they said, Ali, why didn't you just jump right up? He said, because I have never been hit that hard in my life. He wasn't just hit for that day. He was hit from Joe Frazier's father losing his arm in that sawmill. He was hit from the folks making fun of him in North Carolina. He was hitting him for the folks that made fun of his list that he couldn't talk. He was hitting him for him saying, you ugly, look like a gorilla. All that power. And down goes Ali. And when you saw the fight was over and Ali was all swollen giving an interview, Ali said, I have never been hit in my life as hard as Joe Frazier. And they was like, Joe Frazier, what was your strategy? And because, they would say, he don't talk articulate. Joe Frazier said, what strategy? When you get in the ring, you throw that away. It's instinct. And I'm going to tell you something. You got to have a winning instinct in life. You can't follow a playbook, a road map. You got to learn how to change with the tide. Whatever life bring at you. Don't talk about we used to do it like this, we used to do it. You will fall on your butt. You got to learn how to change. When the weather change, you change. We always wear shorts in November, but it's snow outside. Let me tell you something. There's a distinct difference between winners and losers. Their diet. They eat brain food consistently on what they feed their mind. They don't feed their mind on gossip and naysayers and who shot John. They reading about tomorrow. They don't even read a whole lot about yesterday, only for a reference to where we're going. Visionaries always looking to the future. What I like about it is when you deal with a visionary, they ain't never satisfied. You can sit around with a visionary after they've just accomplished something, and you said, boy, that's great. And before you can rest in your laurels, they're casting another vision. And you can't stop. Life is growth. The difference between life and death is movement. You got to keep moving. When you stop, you die. If you don't use it, you lose it. So get up and do something while you got a chance. This life come at you fast. You can be a baby in a walker and an old person on a stroller just very quickly. While you got life, live life to the fullest. You only have one life to live. Jesus have given you life. He gave you something that leveled the playing field. All of us get one life. Jesus said, I am come that you may have life and that more abundantly. If you got a dream, you dream it. But don't just leave your dream in your head. Put it to the roadmap. Put it into reality. If there's somewhere you want to be, go. If there's something you want to see, visit it. If there's something you want to try, jump out of a plane, swim in the ocean, parasail, go to an island, do whatever. But before you leave here, some of us going to be sadly mistaken when we stand in heaven and tell the Lord, we could have did all that. God said, I made a whole creation. You could have saw it. But you stayed on your block. You know, you think about this. Have you ever been to a place, in Las Vegas, they got these long buffets, huge buffets. And let me tell you something. I was with a group of people from Alabama, Birmingham to be particular. They ate the same thing that they ate here. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying $75 to get some green beans and some lima beans, some mac and cheese and some chicken wings. Give me something I ain't never seen before. They will give you something you ain't never seen before. Man, I was like, I done had crab legs from Winn-Dixie. They said, but you ain't seen these. These are called king crab legs. But man, that look like a man leg. They bring those out. How many you want? I'm like, I don't even want the whole one. You say, hey, Derek had one, but hey, you said, I've had porterhouse, I've had sirloin, I had New York strip, I've had cowboy. They said, have you seen the tomahawk? I said, no, I ain't seen no tomahawk. Well, let me show you. Man, that thing come out and said, well, what the cow gonna do? Cause that's just. You see that, man, that tomahawk Derek said I had to bring it home. Man, it's so huge. You said, man, that ain't what we've been getting. Life is wonderful. Let me tell you something. We go and we get iced tea. We get iced tea and sit down. I got me 2 glasses of iced tea. Man, they got iced tea with fruit, iced tea with flowers. Well, what are them little flowers and red flowers? They got iced tea with cream on it. They got iced tea with liquor. They got iced tea with, you go, oh, geez, I didn't know iced tea came in so many flavors. Raspberry, strawberry, lemon berry. It was like, what? So you learn that's it, man, God got a whole world out here. It's like, oh, have you tried coconut milk? I didn't know coconut had a milk. And then the lady was like, have you, I was like, I'm through. She said, well, have you tried a filet mignon? I said, oh, for who? A filet mignon. I said, I ain't never heard of that. She said, well, hold on, we'll give him 4 medallions. Medallions? Is that some coins? And they bring them out and put them on your plate. You go, well, I could just pick these up. They say, no, you don't do that. And you say, what are these? And you try one, you say, these are delicious. Where have I been? I thought they were going to taste like potted meat. I got a friend, his name's Columbus, and he told me, he said to me, he said, I don't care how rich I get and where I go. Mr. Eleanor, he told me, I ain't gonna never stop eating bologna. I love bologna sandwich. And then he tried a filet mignon, he's like, I ain't eating no more bologna. Bologna is good till you try a filet mignon. Like riding in a car is good. Let me tell y'all something. I ain't trying to make nobody mad because I said it last time I made somebody mad. In '07, Chrysler came out with the Chrysler 300. And since I had never seen one, they said, look just like a Bentley. And I said, really? And since I had never seen a Bentley, George, I believed him. And I was like, so that's what a Bentley looked like, all up inside of it. You know, the 300 was nice. Then we went to Atlanta and Cedric pulled out in the Bentley. And I was like, he was like, you want to get in? I was like, because I said, this is what I said at first. You got a nice 300. And he looked like he almost swallowed. And Christy, I sat in that and I was like, Sister Smiley was trying to tell me. But I said, this ain't no 300. It's got real wood. And it's got a real clock. And then in the door, it got an umbrella. And then the guy said it has 13 coats of paint. It looked like an airplane on the inside. And I said, this is not the 300. I said, can I drive? He said, no, you can't drive. I said, he said, but I'll give you a ride. And I was like, oh, my God. And when I found out that there is a difference, I said, I'll never be the same. Sometimes we come too early, leave too soon, and go too late. Life is great, but you got to do what's necessary to stay in there. Excellence will promote you. Excellence, be baptized in excellence. Your speech, the Bible said they had an excellent speech. That means that what you talk about will elevate you. Esther had an excellent speech, and it put her in the palace. I see people sometimes, they got all the caption of excellence, and they don't possess any of it. Somebody else's excellence got them in the position. Somebody else's excellence got them dressing like they do. They drive in somebody else's excellence, and they drive in a car that their excellence can't produce, or living in a house their excellence can't produce, because they living off somebody else's excellence. They still jacked up. People don't get better until their excellence is put under fire. That's why you got a lot of men out here living off mama, and they ain't trying to be a better person, because they can lie and still get blessed. They cheat, still get blessed. They have no integrity and still get blessed. As soon as you have to live off your integrity, you get better. You can't get fired if you're already unemployed. A lot of times folk don't act a fool because they don't want to lose their job. But when you're already unemployed, you ain't got nothing to lose. Let me tell you something. You never fight a person who has nothing to lose. Don't ever get in an argument with a person who has nothing to lose. And you don't ever take folk with you that ain't got nothing to lose. Let me tell you something. It costs you to get where you going, and you taking a person that's just a buster. They just going with you. I'm riding with Christy. No. I ain't even putting on the gas. If you want something you never had, it's going to cost you. And everybody don't pay the same price. As Bishop Blake said, that the farm animal said, well, you know what? Farmer Brown really been good to us. Said in the morning, we're going to give him a good breakfast. The chicken said, I'll give him eggs. The cow said, I'll give him milk. The pig got mad and just walked off. Because all the pig had was bacon. It was going to cost the pig a lot more than it cost everybody else. Sometimes it's going to cost you more to get where you're going. An egg ain't going to cost you more because tomorrow there'll be another egg. Milk ain't going to cost you. They just took some pain away from you. But when you lose a ham, you got to lose a leg. How long do you want to wallow in despair? How long do you want to lose? When you want what you never had, you got to sow what you never sown. Read a better book. Walk a better walk. Go in another neighborhood. Sit outside. Eat at another restaurant. Have another conversation. Do different to get different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting something different. When you want different, you do different. I like to do that. I like to do that. No, you Jed Clampett in Beverly Hills. And that's fictional. You take your behind out to Beverly Hills, they got guards at the gate, won't let you in. You better learn how to deport yourself in an excellent manner, or you'll be back at home. Did I bless anybody?